everybody. Kristina Carmody here with Liberty Canine Dog Training and Miss Penny, who's officially on day 4 of her training camp with me. The last 3 days we've been focusing on the follow me, the place, the sit, and the down, all with her prong collar to give her that leash guidance. She's been rocking everything really nicely, has a really good basic understanding of how to do all that, and now she's ready for her remote collar training portion of everything, where we're just going to use the remote collar, layer it on top of everything that she knows with the leash, and then at some point get that leash off her and have her doing it completely off leash, which is really a solid thing to do, especially when she's in the house trying to chase the cat or out and about, and we want some control over her that way. The really huge benefit that I find with remote collar training, I'm a huge fan of it on the low level type of stimulations, is no other tool in my opinion can provide as much clear communication by giving just the right of information and just the right amount of guidance to make her as successful as possible and have the training go as quickly as possible. So it is by far such a clear communicator to the dog, and it makes sense to them, which is why it really does a great job of helping to accelerate the entire training program in a way that they understand. So it's really great with that. And depending on the distraction level, because we saw videos of Penny with major distractions with the cat or outside and there's other people passing or other dogs passing and so on. Depending on her level of distraction, we can apply just the right amount of pressure to her so that basically we aren't relying on a treat, or we aren't relying so much on the environment around us not being as crazy and chaotic and so on. So that way we can do a great job of being able to communicate to her during those situations in a way that really does make sense to her, which is great. So it really is just about finding that perfect spot where it gets her attention and she has a good understanding of it, and then that can fluctuate depending on the stuff that is really going on around her. So what we're going to do is just this part of the video, I'm just going to show you how to fit it on her and how to find that working level. That's that perfect spot that we're looking to use it on her for. So I have just a regular English slip lead on her. I don't need to use the prong collar and the leash for this part of it, just because I want her to feel the remote collar by itself. I don't want her to rely on the prong collar, which she's done great for the last 3 days, and is really helping to get her calmed down a little bit. So I just want to use the remote collar. I have a Mini Educator 300 remote collar for her. You can see I already put it on her neck, and when you put it on their neck, it goes a lot more snug than a lot of people think it does. So I have small fingers, so I fit my 4 fingers, except for my thumb, my 4 fingers underneath the strap, and that way I know there's plenty of room in there, but it's snug enough where I can't move it around her neck, or it's not able to move around by itself. If it's able to in any way move around itself, or if the dog's scratching at it and they're able to really knock it around, that's what you don't want. Because the issue with that is if they're moving it around or the collar is adjusting itself, sometimes they may feel it on a level and sometimes they may not, because it's not making consistent contact with their skin. You need it to make as consistent contact as possible so it is super reliable and you won't have a huge fluctuation of levels, because what ends up happening is you're trying to find the working level, you're turning it up, turning it up, turning it up, she's not quite feeling it, all of a sudden she shakes her head or something, it adjusts itself, then you do use it and it's too high. So you want to make sure it's nice and snug on there. And as you saw, I fit 4 of my fingers. If you have slightly larger fingers, you can fit at least 2. I was able to fit 4 of my fingers underneath of it, and it's nice and firm in place. And I normally like it kind of off to the side, right behind an ear or something like that. It doesn't. You see a lot of people use it like right there. It doesn't have to be right there. I actually kind of like it right adjusted to the side, which is perfect. So now that she has it on her, now what I'm going to do is find her working level. And her working level is dependent on the environment and the distractions that are around her, as well as her adrenaline level at that moment. So right now she's super calm, and this has been the place she's been hanging out for the last few days, so she's not so distracted. And I actually put the cat in the other room so the cat's not bothering her right now or anything like that. So she's super calm. So this is going to be her very base level when there's no distractions going on or anything like that. Now as soon as we go outside, just the point of being outside, she's a little bit more distracted, trying to look out around things. She may be a couple notches higher. As soon as you add in a big distraction, like another dog coming at us, or a cat, or a bird, or a squirrel or something, she may be a few notches higher than that. So your level is going to fluctuate. So when I say find her working level, it's basically that introduction level in that moment, which in a given session could change. So she may be, let's say she's at a 5. She may be a 5 right now, but as she hears some stuff or some other dogs start shifting or something like that, she may have to go to a 6 or 7 or an 8. Or as she gets really nice and calm and into it and she can feel it a lot more clearer, she's going to be more towards like maybe a 2, 3, or 4. So we're going to find that perfect level, and what I'm basically looking for from her is maybe an ear twitch. You know, you can kind of see them do that. Maybe a little bit of a head shake. Some dogs look towards the ground, you know, they're wondering where it's coming from. And some dogs are just kind of, you can see them like kind of blink, just to signify that they see it. Now, if you see anything a little bit stronger, like a little bit of a bounce, or you have any type of vocalization or anything like that, you know it's a little bit too high in that moment. We don't want her to be panicked about it or overly concerned about it. I want her to be aware of it, but not completely freaked out by it. So it definitely is the key of working on the lowest possible level that you can find for that dog in that moment. So that's the key when you begin remote collar training. So what I'm going to do with my mini educator is I'm actually going to get her up from her down, just because that's completely calm. She can either be a sit or a stand, just a neutral. I'm not going to put her into command. Okay, I'm not going to put her into a command. I just want her kind of chilling out, so she can be pretty neutral, and I know there's nothing going on. So I'm going to use the continuous button, and I'm just going to basically hold it down for about 2 seconds and release, hold it down for 2 seconds, release, hold it down for 2 seconds, release. And I'm basically just looking for any type of sign that she's aware of something tapping on her neck. So that's a 1, not really getting anything. She's curious about a smell in the air. This is a 2. No, turn it up to a 3. Might be something right there. She's kind of, you see that? She's kind of looking at the ground, kind of sniffing it. Let me see if she does that again. Tap. So that's likely where I'm going to be, because I'm pretty sure she's aware of it right there. I'm going to turn it to a 4. This goes up to 100, by the way, guys. So when I say I'm at a 4, it is so low. Most humans, just to give you an idea, can't feel it until about 8, anywhere up to 20. Every time I have the person feel it before I put it on their dog, And most of the time, the lowest level that people will feel it at is about an 8. I have little kids that don't feel it until a 15 or a 16 or so on. And then some guys, just because they have slightly rougher hands, don't feel it into the 20s and so on. So when I say I'm at a 4, I am super, super low. Okay, again, kind of neutral position, just because I want to see obvious signs of her using it. So this was a 3. And, ooh. Alright, so yeah, that's a 3. You know what, I'm not even going to go to 4 because you just saw the little scratch. She's literally just trying to be a little curious of that bug nagging at her. So I'll go ahead and have her at that 3. So that's exactly where I want her for right now in this type of quiet environment. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the video of how to introduce the place command with the remote training collar. Now that I found that perfect working level. But just to recap, you want it fit on her nice and snugly. You want to layer it on top of behaviors that she's already had some basic training with. So that's the way I really prefer to do it, to just have a few days for her to see these commands first, so that if she does get stuck or something on the command, I can give her a little bit of a help with that leash if need be, and she has complete understanding of what that means. And then when you find the working level, it's just where you start to see them just barely noticing it, and it's just barely aware of what's going on. So we'll go ahead and take that place video next, and then immediately go ahead and take the follow me video, which is your first 2 lessons, both the follow me / come as well as the place. So so that's it as far as trying to put it on her, find that working level, and get started. Thanks, guys.